to the Innovative E webinar, Project for the Web for HR Professionals, how Microsoft makes employee onboarding simple and collaborative. We'll be starting our webinar now, so Pamela, please begin the recording. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Thanks for joining us again today, folks, for this webinar. We'll be getting started now. I'm Brian Quick, and I'll be your host today. Just a few housekeeping items as we get started. We are muting the audience, but we really do encourage your participation. So please type your questions into the box provided, and we have moderators on the call today that are going to bring those questions to my attention. Don't be shy and don't hold your questions till the end. As always, this webinar is copyright of intellectual property of Innovative E. My name is Brian Quick. I'm the Director of Sales for Innovative E. We are a Microsoft Gold partner in project portfolio management, as well as several other areas. And we've been around the block for a while. I'm a project management professional myself, and I've been in IT for a while now. And Mike Taylor is our president. He's also on the call with me, and we have Pamela Melville moderating. And Mike, if you could open up that poll for us so we could see who are you guys on the phone. We just want to get a little bit more information about the audience. So if you can go in and put whether you're an HR professional, a project manager, an IT professional, or other, please provide that information for us so we can move forward. It looks like we've got a mix of project managers, HR professionals are not on the call today, but perhaps you could pass this information on to your colleagues, and IT professionals and other. And so let's move forward now that we know our audience and talk about Project for the Web. So what is Project for the Web? Project for the Web is Microsoft's new tool. Not only a new logo for project, but also a new tool entirely geared toward more everyday project managers, folks that are not professionally trained in project management, but are doing projects. And it's built on the Power Platform, which includes Power BI, Microsoft Flow, which is now called Power Automate, and Power Apps. And because it's on that platform, it provides a very extendable solution for your needs. So we've had kind of the story that we like to tell here is that we've had some project management tools that have been traditional in the past, Microsoft Project, as provided by an online subscription, and we've had enterprise PPM solutions like Project Online that you guys are probably familiar with. But if you look at kind of the lower end of the spectrum for task management, we've done a lot with Microsoft Planner, and Planner's been the most requested tool in Teams as an app add-on. And then a lot of folks are still using Excel to do just task planning and task management or some other software as a service tool. So what Microsoft recognized is that there's kind of a gap here between simple task management tools and robust project management tools. And so insert Project for the Web kind of in between those for the occasional project manager, someone who's just trying to get things done, maybe self-organizing a team, but isn't a professional project manager. So basically, Project for the Web is releasing now out to your Office 365 tenants. If you're already a Project Online Professional subscriber, you don't need to do anything, you'll just get it. And for those of you that are not yet subscribers, there's a new SKU called P1 that you can subscribe to get Project for the Web. And so when they were thinking about doing this, they took a look at Microsoft Planner, which some of you may be using already today as a simple task management tool. It has a Gantt chart view need capability that it doesn't have today. So folks are asking for this on user voice. They're saying, hey, wouldn't it be great if Microsoft Planner had a Gantt chart view? Wouldn't it be great if Microsoft Planner had subtasks, so the ability to have those? And so what they did was they took the user voice feedback from Planner and they built those things into the new project for the web. So we're going to show you those things today. Planner really falls short of being a scheduling tool. You can't really sequence things out in a schedule. You can't have dependency relationships between tasks in a schedule, and the reporting is quite limited. It's good for what it is, simple task management, email notification, team participation on those things, but it kind of falls short of traditional project management. So Microsoft basically created Project for the Web to fill that gap. And so if you look at kind of modern work management, as we're calling it, in organizations that are doing things towards certain goals, you have individuals and work groups kind of on the low end of that are basically self-organizing, trying to get things done. And then you go up to project-driven teams and then high complexity PPM. And so as you move up that scale, you need different things. So what individuals and work groups are trying to do is just improve team productivity or visibility into their work and projects. And when we get to project-driven teams, we want to know what people are working on, what they're doing, so that we can provide effective resource management in that case. We want some flexibility to swap and replace projects in and out and have the right data and analytics to make those decisions. And then we want to align projects to strategy when we get to the higher end of the scale and maturity, and then measure benefits. So as we work toward the right side of the screen, our work and project complexity increase, so our solution and app governance formalization also needs to increase. And so what the tool sets are, kind of starting on the left, is how do I get started? You've got a lot of Microsoft Teams, Planner, and now Project for the Web going on. If you weren't using these things, you might be using other tools like Excel or other software as a service tools to just do task management. Microsoft is providing these tool sets on the Office 365 platform. And when Power Platform comes into play, basically it's the extendability of these things that we want to talk about. So the fact that you can have a Power Automate flow basically between applications, that you can bring the data that's being provided in these applications to light in Power BI, and that you can build your own custom apps and Power Apps to interact with the data. And so as we move forward toward the right here, you might be looking at third-party apps to manage these complex project portfolio management systems. You might be looking at things like Azure DevOps in order to build customizations. So Microsoft really runs the gamut from the less formal and traditional task management all the way to project portfolio management. We have Mike Taylor on the call today, the president of Innovative E. Mike, do you have any other insight you want to share on this particular slide?
Yeah, Brian, so it sounds like kind of what you're showing here is that, the new project for the web is really kind of filling the gap for the out-of-the-box user, but also the fact that it's built on the Power Platform. People can then extend it themselves if they want to, or then that solution can follow all the way to the most complex solution. So it really does sound like there's kind of an end-to-end capability there for whatever level of complexity people want. In the smaller work groups, maybe they only need to have a certain level of complexity, where the higher end folks can have a much higher level of complexity, but it's all based on the same basic tool set and same platform.
Yeah, and we've been around the block for a while, Mike, so you and I know that not everybody is going to use Microsoft Project. There's just a certain group of people that are used to things like that. They're the professional project managers, and what this really does is it kind of lowers the bar a little bit for folks to get involved with project management, which is really exciting, because really we're going to be providing ease of use, but at the same time we're going to be providing the capability and functionality of a scheduling engine. So I think a lot more projects are going to succeed as a result.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So we're real excited about it. And what Innovative E is doing as a Microsoft Gold partner and thought leader in the space is we're really taking a look at our vision in light of these changes that Microsoft's making to really encompass a larger community. And we really want to empower individuals and groups with work management freedom. We don't want to dictate what tool they're using. We like where Microsoft's going with providing basically a menu of different tools of whatever rigor is needed in order to get these things in, get this data in. But then we want to provide unparalleled enterprise visibility, agility, and control, sort of giving executives what they need to make decisions on the data. And that's where we are looking to make an impact in this space. So I'm going to open up another poll now, second poll that we're going to have for the audience about common HR onboarding challenges. If you'd like to take a look at that poll, you can basically see what we're asking here. So what are your common HR onboarding challenges? And some of the options there are interdepartmental collaboration, dependent tasks, tight deadline.
Yeah, I think we've all seen the kind of thing where you get somebody onboarded and they start day one and somebody actually counts down and it's day 21 before they have all the things they need to do to actually do their job, right?
Right, that's right. And then delays in day one productivity. So I mean, you don't want to be sitting at a desk with no computer, right, Mike?
Yeah. Yep. Or a computer, no access to the system you need, or email, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Yep.
So let's take a look at some of those poll results. So people are seeing, 50% of you on the call today see interdepartmental collaboration as being a challenge. Another 50% dependent tasks. And all of you agree that tight deadlines and delays in day one productivity are some challenges with HR onboarding. I think all those things make sense, and so most organizations are going to have their own unique challenges. And we're going to highlight a couple of ways that the new project for the web might be able to help today. So without further delay, I'm going to switch gears here and go over to project for the web. I'm going to go ahead and load up my Office 365 in my browser. So when I go to Office 365, you notice that it's a pretty common screen that most of you are probably used to. And all of your apps and documents and stuff are pretty much at your fingertips here. But instead of going to Word, Excel, or Outlook, we're going to go to Project. And as the page loads, you'll notice that there's a new button on the upper left-hand corner of the screen that says New Blank Project, and we're going to click on that. And just like that, we are off and running. We've got the new project for the web running on our Office 365 environment, and I've already started a new project. It was that easy. So I'm going to go ahead and name my project HR Onboarding Demo. And I'm going to say maybe this one is going to start on the 18th. And what you see here is the ability to basically create a project within a matter of seconds. Whereas with Microsoft Project today, you're creating on your desktop, it's not in a collaborative environment, or if you're using Project Online, you're going through a number of steps in order to create that project. This is just a very user-friendly way in order to get that done. And I can just begin typing. For example, I might have a employee sign date. I might have something like employee self-service portal complete, and then start date determined. So if I want to create a quick project plan here, it's very easy to do, very simple. I can then assign it to others. I have a duration, I have different columns, and I have a board view and a timeline view. But to really give you the idea of how this thing can work for you, I'm going to switch over to Teams because I can do this whole thing right in Teams. And what I've done here in Teams is I've created a team called Innovative E Project Demo. And within that, I have 3 channels for general contract management and HR onboarding. So within my channel here, I have a discussion, so I can just chat with people on the call today, and I can say, hey, did you hear that Bill accepted the offer? And I can just have a discussion with my fellow colleagues here on the board, and that's kept as a thread of discussion. Anything I post is also noted here. Any files I edit or author. I have a document library, which you might want to use in an HR onboarding capacity. Oh, Mike replied to my to my note there. Great news. Thanks, Mike. I might have a file repository here for employee benefits, an HR policy guide. I even have a Visio diagram in here for HR onboarding process, which I'll talk about in a minute. But any files that you want to share with others here, and you can easily open up a file and co-author that with others. We talked about that a little bit in the webinar yesterday on contract management. Won't get into that much today, but the ability to basically just co-author a file right here and work on it at the same time is really core to the team's collaborative experience. I can also have different kind of tabs up here. So one of those tabs I've set up to be the employee onboarding project plan. So just like we were in Project for the Web a second ago, basically we're in the employee onboarding project plan that I've gone ahead and built out ahead of time. So I can expand this into full screen. And now I'm working within Teams entirely with Project for the Web. So you can see I've got a few more tasks built out here. If I wanted to, I could basically find out some additional details about a task by clicking on the informational tab. And then I can basically change the name of it. I can change the start date, the duration, % complete. So why don't I go ahead and change the duration of this task to 3 days. And then I can also calculate effort if I want to get to that level of detail. For the purposes of this plan, we're not going to go ahead and calculate effort, but effort is different than duration because effort's the amount of work that it takes to get something done, and duration is the amount of time that it takes to do it over a period of days or weeks, whatever the case may be. You may not be working on it the whole time. I also note that I have a dependency on here for offer letter signed. So let's explore that a little bit. Let's go in here and see, how do I make dependency relationships? So here I have a depends on column, and I can go ahead and click on that, and then I can set different dependencies. For example, if this was dependent on task 1 and task 3, I can simply make a selection. Very user-friendly, common sense way of doing things here in Project for the Web. I could have also typed in a number there, just typed 3, and then it gives me the suggestion, and I can go ahead and I can set that. If I don't want it anymore, I can just back it out with a backspace. And one of the other things I can do is assign basically relate this particular plan to a group, and that group can exist already, or I can create a new group. I hooked this up to my Innovative E project demo group, where I have all my friends in here that I can assign tasks to. This might be a group in HR or a shared onboarding group within Office 365 groups, maybe that has some mixed folks in it from IT, HR, and facilities services that all need to collaborate on onboarding. And then I can go ahead and assign work to folks within that group. If I want to go ahead and assign this to Sean, I can do that right here. I can go ahead also and assign this out to someone in my group, maybe Sylvie. So now people are getting notifications that things are being assigned to them, and we're working together collaboratively. Notice also I have a bucket column, which is kind of cool because I can basically categorize things in different tasks the way I want them. And then some other columns that I didn't include but are available are % complete, a dependency after, effort completed, effort remaining, and outline number. Now, if I want to get things done collaboratively, a nice way to do that is to use a board instead of a grid. Now, grid's nice for entering things in there in a nice, easy way, like I showed earlier, but a board really helps me collaborate with my team and get things done. I can take a look at my board from not started, in progress, and completed, a traditional Kanban board, if you will. I can also group things differently. I can come up here and group things by finish date. I can also group things by bucket. And when I group things by bucket, I can rename my buckets, and I have IT, HR, facilities, and employee. I just thought it would be fun to basically look at this in terms of what bucket it falls into departmentally with each one of these onboarding tasks. And I can go ahead and move things around just like this if I were in my Kanban board. And you might have a status meeting of some kind, or people might just come in here to the team and say, all right, I assigned the desk space, or I'm working on that, and go ahead and do that. Maybe they want to just grab that and assign it to themselves. They can do that really quite easily right here. And they can say, oh, I'm half done with that, 50% complete. Or they could just move it to completed. And it crosses it out, gives it a nice checkbox. Now I can switch between board and grid view and notice that it carries my changes through. One other really cool thing about Project for the Web is that when I'm in teams, I can collaborate and converse with people on this project plan in the context of the plan. So let's say, for example, we've set a start date, but we want to go ahead and order the laptop. I can ask Mike if he ordered the laptop yet. I might want to even include a fun GIF or meme in there. Let's get this done. Go ahead and send that to Mike. You know, that's a fun way of collaborating with people that are working on an onboarding process with you, and just kind of creates a nice team environment where we're having a little fun at work and we're getting things done in the process. So we can go ahead and do things like that right in the context of the project schedule. Again, if you were working on Microsoft Project with this, you would be pretty confined to your desktop. If you were working on another software as assurance tool, you're not sure that those people are going to be involved in that or have access to it. So this is all within the context of Office 365 and Teams. So we know it's the platform of choice for collaboration for that entity, for your organization. Now that I've done that, I can basically take a look at this timeline, which is another way of looking and visualizing what's happening, what's going on. And you really get an idea of what, maybe if you're familiar with the concept of critical path, for example, things are on. For example, this might take a long time here, and these things need to happen, but they pretty much have a lag until these things down here need to happen. So these things get delayed, that's fine, no real impact to the project. If this one gets delayed, we're impacting the project. So you can see how you can visualize that in one place. And the timeline gives you the ability to kind of zoom in and out and see things different ways within the project. So now switching back to grid, notice that you can also move things around the grid. So let's say that I wanted to take this and move it up. I can just click and drag it. Very easy to do, very easy to learn. And Mike just gave me a thumbs up on my thread here, so we're collaborating in real time. I'm going to go ahead and make this back to the half screen and provide a couple of other things that might be helpful during HR onboarding process when using Project for the Web in concert with Teams. A lot of you are maybe familiar with Microsoft Visio. Well, Visio has the ability to map out processes. You may have a certain process that you're following for your new employee onboarding here, and you might want to put that right in the context of what's going on so that people can look and reference and share where they are on the process. If you really wanted to take this to a whole nother level, if you used Power Automate, formerly known as Microsoft Flow, we could actually bring this process flow to life. And we could provide notifications, and we could hook it up to the Project for the Web plan, so that if people are moving through the process, things are being checked off the list here in the plan. Wouldn't that be awesome? That's possible using the Microsoft Power Platform, even though these are not native capabilities of any tool. When they're used in concert with the Power Platform, they actually can provide some pretty innovative things. Let's take a look at some reporting. Now, this is going to be a base out-of-the-box reporting suite that's provided by Microsoft and available on GitHub to hook this up to my projects that I'm doing, whether those be employee onboarding projects or others. But if you wanted a report just for your employee onboarding initiatives, you could use this simple Power BI interface where you could take this information basically, and you're pulling it in and you're bringing it into Power BI because it's all available on the Common Data Service. It's easily brought into Power BI for innovative reporting, and you can then share this with others. You can have comments and questions about the data right here in line with the data, and you can basically create and edit these visualizations quite easily with Power BI. So would be something that's totally doable is to have an onboarding dashboard here that had where are we at, what are these end dates, are we at risk for any of them, just by having basic project plans and project for the web and basic reporting in Power BI. And so with that, I thought we would open the webinar to any questions that you have about how to use Project for the Web in general, or how to use Project for the Web for employee onboarding. So are there any questions being asked there, Pamela or Mike?
I don't see any yet.
Okay.
Everybody don't be shy.
Well, as you guys are considering your questions or clarifications, we just want to talk about what we could do for next steps. So if you really want to use Project for the Web for employee onboarding or other purposes within your organization, we would recommend that we do a personalized demonstration for you and your company. Get to learn a little bit more about your needs and challenges in your organization and how we might be able to help. It doesn't have to be limited to this particular topic or workload, but just basic project management in general. We'd be happy to talk to you about that. Please reach out to us, and then we would be able to provide a common challenges assessment for work management. Let's say, for example, you're going through a process of adopting teams. You're not really sure how to set it up or how to make it work in concert with Planner or Project for the Web. We can help you with that. And so if you want to learn more, please contact us. You can contact us at info@innovative-e.com, or mike.taylor@innovative-e.com, or brian.quick@innovative-e.com. Or you can like us on Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn. Of course, we have our website, innovative-e.com. So with that, let's just check back and see if there were any other questions.
Yeah, we do have one about Teams integration, Brian. It says, is there a trick to adding project as a tab? It's not listed as an app.
Yes, there is a trick, Warren. Good question. So we can go over that real quick. I'd just be able to do that really and address that very, very easily. So the way that we do that, Warren, is we basically use this plus sign here. And we go to, now I've heard that they may be coming out with a native app here, but it's not quite available yet. So we need to do the website app, and we can go ahead and name it whatever we want. And we're going to cut and paste the URL of our project plan right here from, remember my demo project I created, but we're going to append an ampersand. And we're going to say dynamics UI equals true to the end of that. And we're going to copy and paste that right directly over here back in Teams in the URL area. And we're going to save it. And now I have integrated my project plan with Teams. How about that?
Nice hack there. He says, "Ah, thanks." Nancy says, "Excellent. Thank you, Nancy."
All right, great.
Any other questions? Nope. Just getting some thank yous and greats. Good job, Brian.
How do I trial it? I think.
Good question, Nancy.
Well, if you want to trial, please reach out to us at Innovative E, and we'll arrange for the necessary trial. This is something that if you have a Microsoft account team directly, that they'd be happy to work with you on as well. So with that, let's conclude our webinar today. And again, this is Brian Quick on behalf of the rest of us at Innovative E. Enjoy Microsoft Project for the Web, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Brian.